Whoa. Excuse me. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Whatever, whenever. Good. I don't know. I don't often go live on YouTube without, let's see. I don't often go live on YouTube without, that's a little better maybe. Without OBS, but it's just camera and microphone today. So I hope that you're doing well. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Oh, excuse me. That's how I'm doing. I love being a muggle and working, but man, do I wish sometimes I could just sleep in. I mean, I guess I did sleep in. It's barely, but anyway, I hope you are well. The benefit of having more room and more space, the benefit of having a space that isn't cluttered, is that I get to get all of my decks when I want them instead of having to use the ones that are convenient. Okay. So we're going to do a quick live today. Well, we'll see how quick. We'll see how quick. Un moment, por favor. Cool. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. Well, I hope you can get somewhere safe, or I hope that she don't have access to you. I hope that calms down. All right. I have the Dreams of Guy Tarot because I can get into the third shelf. And I'm just saying, this isn't a deck that I use too often, and sometimes I use it on my way. But I wanted to use a deck from the bottom shelf. I could use the Osho Zen Tarot. I think that's in the second shelf. I wanted to use a deck from the bottom shelf, one that I don't usually have access to, that I have open access to now. Like I said, that was one of the things. It is. I mean, I just woke up not too long ago, but I am finding my way. I have gone the distance. Didn't care how far. Somehow I was strong. Knew that every mile. Excuse me. All right. What are we doing today? There are series that I can finish now that I have more room. Like I could finish the Jupiter series. I can finish like all of them, but I do not know from whence the song comes, When it does, I must sing. Yes, sir, I do. Happy Pride Month. I didn't take the Pride Tarot to the Psychic Fair yesterday, and I was like, it's the Midsummer Pride Psychic Fair. How did I forget the Pride Tarot? I walked out the door and almost forgot all my decks. So that's how I forgot the Pride Tarot. I almost forgot any of my tarot. I mean, I had 3 already at the shop that honestly I could have used. But all right. What do we have for today? A whole bunch of cards just flipped over. Ooh. We stand a queen. Speaking of the LGBTQIA plus, I am gay. So, I mean, if you couldn't tell, maybe you can't. There are a lot of people who are like, oh, I didn't even know. I was going to say that's because you ain't seen. Well, happy Pride Month, Kidua. We have the 8 of Fire, which is this beautiful queen. Like if I move the card up here, it focuses. You see that? It continues to focus. Ah! Will it focus on me again now, though? No? Okay, fine. Let me be blurry. Oh, well, there it is. Thank you again for these cameras. Thank you again for the space where I have enough light for the cameras to do what they love to do, which is focus. It's almost like this, like, be the phoenix type of energy. Next is the 6 of Air, which is giving me some yin yang. I mean, it's giving balance. Which is nice, which is lovely. It's also a little bit of a caduceus energy, but not a caduceus. I'm looking at the staff, and it's because there's only one bird, but it has like one light wing and one dark wing. You see it? Of course you can see that because these cameras focus. Whoop, 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 whoop. Sorry. I'm excited. Then we have the 1 of Earth. The 5 of Earth. The Destiny card. The 8 of Air. And the 7 of Earth. There is a reason why I seldom use this deck. Do 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 da 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 da. Na 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 na. La la. Ba da ba da ba ba. All right, see you later. I hope your day goes better than that. Let's see. um, so the 8 of fire, 6 of air, and 1 of earth is feeling like a balance between masculine and feminine forces. And this green dragon is reading as masculine today. It's this balance between masculine and feminine forces. Then we have the 5 of earth, destiny, and the 8 of air. Which is feeling like an ego trap is the easiest way to put it. Um, it's this destiny point. Well, maybe more so than destiny point. It's a point where one's true colors sort of like shine, right? You know how people say absolute power corrupts absolutely. You know how people say opportunity makes a thief, um, and so on. It's like nothing makes anything out of someone who isn't already that. Like if a little bit of power will have someone thinking that they're bigger, better, greater, grander, whatever than other people, it speaks to the character of that person. If someone would see an opportunity to take something that isn't theirs, then it just highlights their character. Now, there are some things where it's like easier to fall and to display qualities that one wouldn't necessarily. But then it's just like, well, that's just because you didn't have the opportunity or you didn't have the power, but like that's how you truly feel. It's like if you truly cared about people, like power wouldn't change that. Power would enhance that because power would give you the opportunity to do the things that you already want to do to benefit the world and everybody, not just you. But it feels like it's something that's so enticingly sweet or so whatever that's why it's reading as an ego trap. It feels like it's very easy to sort of like give into pick a deadly sin, to give into one of them: greed, envy, lust, sloth, wrath, whatever. But then what isn't as easy as this balance. On the other side, and that's what this is feeling like. It's making me think of like all of those animes that I've watched where it's the 6 of wands in the um, Spirit Keeper's Tarot as well, where it's like, maybe they're under an illusion or it's time to get serious in a fight, so they stab themselves or whatever. Nobody do that. This is not um, telling anybody to stab themselves or anything like that. But it's something that, like, it breaks the illusion of whatever this destiny is. And again, destiny isn't necessarily feeling like destiny is feeling more like revealing a truth of one's character rather than like their destiny. And then we have the 7 of earth by itself, What's interesting about the seven of earth is that this snake lives in the solar plexus rather than the sacral. See, right there. Rather than the sacral, it lives in the solar plexus. Maybe this is the result of things once achieved. I'm going to have to move my keyboard so I can push the cards back so I can utilize more of my desk. I love it. This is real. Like, I don't feel like I'm dreaming, but it's not hard to believe because, that's why I worked. That's why I did the work. And this is only intermediary. This just happened because there's something bigger and grander and greater that's coming that would have scared me more if I didn't do this. So I was like, I got to do this before, so I feel comfortable doing that. I could have went from where I was all the way over there, but to give myself some peace of mind, here's this intermediary step that I love. That's already beyond what I would have imagined, beyond what I feared for a long time. I don't remember where I put the SKT. I think I put it in. No, it should be over there. So this is the one who doesn't fall prey to whatever that ego trap is, who also embodies or is embodying that balance in between the masculine and feminine. So maybe there's like this masculine and feminine balance. There's also this id and super ego, id and super ego / ego balance. And then there's the one who's doing all of this. It feels like a volcano. Kirsty, how are you doing? I was hoping I'd get to see you today since I was having technical difficulties last time. I mean, it's a good thing that those technical difficulties happened when they happened, because if I would have been live for as long as I was planning on going live, I would have been late. All things for a reason, even technical difficulties. Not the Gemini manifested Mercury retrograde technological difficulties over here so that I don't make him late. Ooh, Gemini using power of Mercury to mess me up. Oh, I'm kidding. So yeah, it's this, and it feels like it's just it's like this that goes up, and then there's like this that goes up. It's all of these things coming together and then pushing up, almost like a tree that just it's like the acorn that spontaneously becomes the 100-year oak. That's what all of this balance sort of has the power to do. I'm going to scooch over here and I'm going to grab the Mystical Shaman Oracle cards because it's making me think of sort of the middle world and the upper world, but honestly, mostly the upper world. See, look at that. And then I just scoop back. Is that the upper world? Yeah, upper world at the bottom of the deck. Excuse me. I need 2 cards to put on either side of the 7 of Earth, please. On either side of the seven of earth, please. Of earth, please. There is something about being self sufficient in a way because of this balance of masculine and feminine in oneself. It's like fertilizing one's own egg, if you will, and not like cloning yourself, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's shoot for less than half an hour. It'll be over after. Ooh. So the first card is the Sorcerer, number 48. That sits under the Five of Earth to the left of the Seven of Earth. It sits at the cross section of the Five and the Seven of Earth. And then Fire sits at the cross section of the Eight of Air and the Seven of Earth. And bottom of the deck is the Ghost Dance. You want to see something, Christy? Watch my camera focus! You see that face in the Ghost Dance? Of course you do. Because I got cameras. Well, I've had cameras that can focus for a long time. I just haven't had the natural light that comes in a way, or light in general, that comes in a way that's like beneficial for the purpose of it, like, focusing. Anyway, sorry. I'm not sorry. What am I apologizing for? Who's at the bottom of the deck over here? Thought. Ooh, number 18. With the King of Earth under that. Ooh, this feels like the Crucible. I'm not fancy. Rob Raymond Russ gifted me these cameras eons ago, back when the Rare Gazelle was still Miss Remy Healings, and when Rob's Tarot or Rob Odinson was a thing. I got the microphone too, but I need a battery for it. Because I think it sounds, there's nothing in this room really, so of course it sounds a little echoey. But so on one side, at the intersection of the Seven of Earth and the Five of Earth, is this Sorcerer. Because the Sorcerer sits at this intersection, the Sorcerer is the one that's like, how can I take advantage of my knowledge of these natural forces and bend them to my will and force them to do my bidding, all for my gain? And it's like, if a little bit of knowledge turns you into like, oh, like, it's like, oh, it's like opportunistic. The Sorcerer's reading is very opportunistic. And through virtue of how the cards fall, has her back turned on this Seven of Earth. It's very hard for the Sorcerer to maintain a balance. It's very hard for the Sorcerer to maintain a certain type of balance when it is so focused on its own goals and furthering its own whatever. And it's like this filtering process of like, okay, well, what can I use to get me where I want to go, and what is just information? But it's almost like, the Sorcerer is the one that takes everything out of the box, and you throw away the directions, discard the instructions, and it's like there's important information in there. And it's like, I don't need any of that. I can figure it out. This is what I want, and you just build it. On the other side, between the Eight of Air and the Seven of Earth, is this Fire. Now, what's interesting about this Fire is that that's what I was focusing on in the Seven of Earth, the Fire. but it's a tree that's not burned. And again, it's like this balance. I'm not surprised that fire is here because with the element of fire, we almost definitely have to have that level of, I don't want to say self control, I'll say awareness. We have to have that level of awareness when it comes to fire because while fire can warm when it's cold, and while fire can provide light, it can also burn, and it can burn uncontrollably. If there's ample fuel, the fire ain't gonna stop until everything's gone. So now I feel like I need to grab the Wild Unknown Alchemy, but I don't have to. There was just, it's like vinegar, and there's another card in the Wild Unknown Alchemy that's like, no, basically, that's like know the nature of the tools that you're using. Because with vinegar and with that other card, it is their nature to be overpowering. And so you have to use them in like limiting qualities. So 2 hours later, frantically searching because you can't find them. Oof. Oh, because you can't find item D, of which there should be two. Yeah, so I was like following the instructions when I assembled this desk. Now, did I count all of the pieces before I started? No. So did I really follow the instructions? Because that was step number one, and I didn't do that. I was like, I trust that everything that I need is in this box because I don't have time to count through this. And I was missing a washer. I was missing one washer, which was item, it might have actually been item D. Not even kidding. It was either item D or item E. I think it was D though, because C was the screw, and then D was the washer, or E was the washer. It was either D or E. I was missing one of them, and I was like, fine, I'll just not overly tighten this or whatever. And the desk hasn't fallen apart yet. But it's also this fire. Like this fire is making me think of destiny. So it's almost like this is the one that makes it through to the other side. And it's not to play comparison or whatever, but at the same time, I don't know. It's like we don't have to compare ourselves to anyone. But at the same time, there comes a point in time in our lives where it probably be beneficial for us to take responsibility for some things. And whatever this destiny is, it's almost like the sorcerer in some instances can be too blind, are too rooted in what they want and how to get that there is so much that they just don't even see. And that's Osho Zen. But also I don't have to pull like 50 decks. So, because it's not half an hour yet. So I'm actually going to end this here. And I don't know, it's like, it's giving me burning bush energy. I have the Enchanted Map Oracle and the Vice Versa Tarot Soul on the table. I'm not going to use either one. We have the Ghost Dance and we have Thought. The Ghost Dance and Thought, it's almost like this is a trap. It's a mechanism that's been in place for a long time. And maybe there are many who approach a certain space and then whatever attachments that they have or non-attachment that they have, it causes them to almost like splinter off. I guess it's almost like a tree. Maybe that's this thing that was forming. It's like, you splinter off at different points. And it's not if you go all the way. But it is about like doing something different. And then under that, we have Sweat Lodge and the King of Earth, which does speak of a certain type of purification when it comes to how things are done around here, you know? And it's like nobody's perfect, and the goal isn't necessarily perfection. Um, I like to say that we are always perfectly us. Well, not always. Perfection isn't absolute, perfection is relative. It's like that Einstein quote, I believe, that you don't judge a fish on its ability to fly or a dog on its ability to climb trees, right? If you're going to judge a fish for anything, judge it for how well its gills convert or how well its gills filter oxygen from the water in order to like support its functioning, and judge it based on its ability to swim, to get to and to do whatever it needs to do for itself, you know? Like use a metric that is relevant to whatever is at hand. And maybe that's one of the things that the sorcerer struggles to see. Anyway, now I'm over half an hour. Let's get some final cards and shut this down. Shut it down. Excuse me. Call your girlfriend. It's time you had a talk. Send her flowers. Destiny has been coming up quite a bit lately. And every time Destiny comes up lately, it's that energy of like, and maybe that's another, like the sorcerer is the one that approaches Destiny with the belief that they know what is to happen. And every time I talk about Thor and Jormungandr, like Thor knows that it's his destiny to slay Jormungandr at the end of Ragnarok and to die. And Jormungandr knows it's his destiny to play the same with Thor. And it's like, no. The only thing in that situation that is destined is your meeting. Whatever happens after that is up to you. Now, we can be convinced by external forces. We can be raised in a way. We can be cultivated like little plants, almost like little bonsais, where we're forced into small containers and we're pruned so that we don't grow too big and wire wrapped into the shape that whoever has us on the shelf or whatever like wants us to be. But don't confuse that with destiny. I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's just like that's not the point that's destined. And it's one of those, like, if you were to stop and think for a second or like listen to your heart for like 0.25 seconds or whatever, it's like you would see the lack of alignment, especially when it comes to things like that sorcerer. It's like, in what world would the divine have you out here just like, I don't know. It's not for me to decide. It's just sometimes, we reach a point, we stop and think, we get more of the picture, and we're not blinded by what we want or what we don't want or how we feel or what we fear or whatever. It's not always easy. That's what Ghost Dance and whatever that other card was told us. If it were easy, the world wouldn't be what it is now. I don't want to say if it were easy. I guess I'll say if it were easy. Because I don't want to say if people really cared about other people, then the world wouldn't be what it is now. But, So, 3 cards. We have the Queen of Fire, this 9 of Earth, and Choice. Queen of Fire, 9 of Earth, and Choice. Choice tells me that these two are the same individual. It's like, which face do you see? You make the choice that's appropriate for the situation at hand. There isn't necessarily a one-size-fits-all solution with anything in life. Sometimes it's to be more of one thing, sometimes it's to be more of another. And it's knowing how to show up in different situations and different circumstances. It's knowing how to account for life while we're living life. That truly, I don't want to say that truly makes one a master, but the 8 of Pentacles, the 8 of Earth is here. And it is kind of sort of that energy. And sometimes also, life does present us with those choices of like, do I do what's right by me or do I do what's right by, if we have a choice that's like that. And if we're presented with the choice that's like that, a lot of people like to be like, oh, no judgment, spirit doesn't hold or do whatever, but maybe spirit don't. But at the same time, like we as humans should want to do better for each other, regardless of what spirit thinks. Like spirit isn't going to punish you for being an absolute garbage person on earth. And spirit is like that line of thinking that's like, there is no eternal damnation that waits for you if you are literally the worst person that's ever incarnated, because it was for you to do that. It's like, okay, but even if that is true, can we not be better humans for each other while we are incarnate in these experiences? Because everybody wants to meet those people. Everybody wants to be surrounded by those people. But who is out there actually like being those people? There's a lot of people who claim to be. A lot of people that think they are. It's like on Facebook, how you'll literally see everybody on Facebook sharing that post that's like, not everyone has a heart that's as kind as yours, and you just have to get used to it. And it's like, if as many people that share this post were actually this, would things not be like drastically different? Would the world not be like drastically different? We make choices, we make better choices moving forward, or we make the same choices moving forward, or we make worse choices moving forward. At the end of the day, it's a choice. There are things that influence our choices, and it's easy when it's some big bad or when it's somebody else, or it's easy when it's all destiny, it's all fate. There is no choice. And it's like, if there's, I don't know, it's just not my personal line of belief. I guess not only that, I would hope for better, and I would hope for more from people, but we all have our own paths. Many paths right there. Many paths. And for all of those different many paths, there are many timelines. So you many path your choices on that timeline that gets you what you deserve. And I do my best to many paths myself on a timeline that gets me what I deserve. And at the end of the day, it isn't even necessarily about deserving. It's about consequence. for choices, like for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. It ain't always karma. It ain't always this. It's if you push a ball, it's gonna roll. If you don't want the ball to roll, stop pushing it. Not like you're throwing the ball all over the place and you're like, oh my gosh, why won't the ball stay still? Anyway. All right, mystical shaman. Yeah. Just like, ooh. Mm-hmm. But again, like we're in a time where we're having so many conversations where human decency, a lot of people like to be like, oh, you can't say anything anymore. It's interesting how a lot of people will be like, oh, we're so sensitive, everything is so PC, you can't say anything anymore. But those will be the same people that get offended if you say something. And it's like, oh, we can't say nothing about this and we can't say nothing about that. We can't say nothing about you, but you want to go out here and you want to say all these things about other people and you want them to just accept it, to not say anything when you don't even do that yourself. It's unreasonable to ask someone to do that. And the fact that as much time has passed with folks being able to treat people a certain type of way or talk to people in a certain type of way, I don't want to say it's beyond ridiculous, but again, it's like when you look at the state of the world, like, and a lot of people like to be like, oh, like what happened to the days when you could be on this side or that side of the political fence and it not be this whatever. Well, what happened to the days when the political fence wasn't like whether somebody should live or die? It's like apples and oranges. You know, it's like the we're not playing the same game. We're not having the same conversations. Like, yeah, well, back in the day, I guess back in the day, those conversations weren't necessarily happening and always. And so it wasn't necessarily an issue that was up for debate when it comes to like human rights and stuff like that. But now it is because conversations have been happening and it's like, I don't know. I don't want to say human decency is dead, but if there's anything that the nodal shift into Sagittarius Gemini illuminated, it was the sad heart of humanity, the state of it. And as loving and as kind and as caring and as compassionate as some people claim to be about the world and animals or whatever, they can be just as cold when it comes to other people. So, but yeah, you're going to get to your 5. It's fine. It's fine. Why did I have all this water? It's fine. Vision Quest is the card that came out. This feels like how people talk about Neptune, honestly. But it's like we like to do crappy things and be lazy and find substitutes instead of just doing the things that we need to do. It's like we like to pop the pill, we like to take the mushroom, we like to smoke the whatever and put ourselves in this Piscean, Neptunian state of the world being perfect. And it's this vision quest. But it's like, girl, like you receive the vision so that you know where to move towards, where you like, you know what I mean? It's like that's the power of Neptune. The power of Neptune is to show you something that you don't even know is possible. And then it's on you to get there. Then it's on you to do things in real life to make that happen. It was thought in the ghost dance. It was the sweat lodge and the king of earth. Like, not to then develop a dependency on something to keep you in this altered state of mind where you do nothing in your reality to make it that way. And then we're like, oh, this transit, like every 500 years, it's like, it's almost like if you have like a machine that you're running. And if you can run the machine for 5 minutes and then it falls apart, and you run it for 5 minutes and falls apart, you run it for 5 minutes and it falls apart, like maybe the machine needs repairing. You know what I mean? Like maybe something needs to be done. Maybe something needs to be fixed. Because if you're having the same issue, that's a technical difficulty. That's human error. That's not anything in the design of the systems. That's not destiny. It's not destined to fall apart just because it happens every time. Call a mechanic. Do something, like, girl. There's my tree of life. Okay. I didn't see the tree before, and then the wild woman is looking at the tree. So under our vision quest came out, the bottom of the deck is a giveaway. The one that dreams, the one that fantasizes, the one that puts themselves in this altered state of mind, they stay there because they don't do anything to make it their reality. And then again, in order to chase that high, they keep doing whatever rather than creating a life that, like, you don't have to alter the state of your brain or your mind, or you don't have to do this spiritual excision. It's like a spiritual surgery. It's like spiritual cosmetic surgery in a way, but it's one of those cosmetic surgeries. And I ain't trying to shame nobody that's had a cosmetic surgery or a cosmetic operation done. That's not the point. But it's just like we try to find ways to spiritually mask, to spiritually like throw the rug over to avoid. And this giveaway, it's like the giveaway is happening over here. Reality is changing over here. Things are moving over here because nothing is moving over there besides maybe somebody's mouth and maybe somebody's mind. Under that is the crow that is also looking in this direction. Under that is Pachamama, who is the living earth. There's earth that's like the rock, and then there's Pachamama that's like Mother Nature. She's also looking over here. And then there's the tree of life. The tree of life, this is why I chose this deck. I said the middle world, but it was the tree of life. The middle world also has a tree on it. That was like this energy. And it's like this, on this axis of feminine masculine, there's this union, this unity that provides, it creates this upward force. And on this axis of ego and super ego, or the axis of id and ego / super ego, it creates this force that pushes it up this way. And it's like there are all of these forces all around that create, that's the acorn that becomes the tree overnight. That's the magic beam that creates the beanstalk that takes you to the land of the giants, where you have the golden harp and the goose that lays the golden eggs and all of that stuff. Anyway, they're all looking at that. And then the wild woman is after the tree of life. Well, she's looking away. Never mind. Oh, that's because she was looking at the tree of life too. This is how it came out at the bottom of the deck. For you, it's like flips because I'm using this. She's looking at that tree of life, the wild woman. It's like everything over here is actually moving because it's people that are actually moving. It's like you take the vision and you do something with it. Because if you don't, then of course nothing is going to change. And then you're going to be chasing that. It's like then the vision becomes a fantasy. And it's like, man, do you got to do everything for humans? Yes, I guess. No, we got to learn to do things for ourselves, because that's what, there's a lot of people who talk about being sovereign, and they talk about empowerment, and they talk about a lot of things that their actions don't always convey they really want, you know? Because it's like, if you really want to be sovereign, then that's you, like, doing the things, not you just, I'm going to sit and meditate and ground, and I'm going to buy this crystal, and I'm going to take this supplement, and then everything will magically just sort of work itself out, and I won't have to do much of anything. It's like, I mean, is that how kings and queens and emperors and empresses rule? By just like sitting on the throne, not making any choices, any decisions, not taking any action? It's like, yeah, the kingdom runs itself into the ground. Ha, kidding. I don't know. And I guess it would be fine if it didn't necessarily breed so much distrust, or like, people will high key feel like betrayed or abandoned by spirit in the universe, when spirit in the universe tells us exactly what is for us to do. Our intuition guides us, and often it guides us in ways that are uncomfortable. It guides us towards things that we don't really want to do or see or face. But it's like, but we want the things that exist on the other side. And it's like, well, how do you get where you're going without moving? You take a pill, you take a mushroom, you take some kind of thing, and you go on your vision quest. And as soon as you come out of it, you just do it again. And then before you know it, the entire world's falling apart, because no one's ever really done anything. It's been 5 minutes. It's time for the machine to go down again, because the mechanic is just in there getting paid, but it's just like the mechanic's not mechanicking. The plumber isn't plumbering. The electrician isn't electricianing. The people who are supposedly here to fix stuff or whatever ain't doing nothing besides finding people that they can complain about the state of the world with on the internet. Yeah, go and meditate, and go and do this, and go and do that. But that person that you see on your way to the grocery store or whatever, that actually needs you in real life, don't do anything for them, because you didn't get any handouts, and you're not going to give anybody else any handouts. It's like, girl, okay, well, I would say do less, but I don't know if it's possible. We make choices. There are many paths, and there are many destinations. There are many timelines, and there are many paths. And sometimes it takes a little bit more than just meditation and crystals and retreats and all of this other stuff to actually get us where we're going. Sometimes, we do actually have to put in a little bit of work, but like, that's the element of earth. You can't think about watering your plants and pray for the sun to come and drink water in your house, and like, because I'm drinking water in my body, then the plants are being watered outside. Like, sometimes it's earth. You got to actually tend to it in real life, practical, tangible ways. That's why there's a Queen of Pentacles, and it's not just the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Wands. To be an Empress, you also got to be the Queen of Pentacles. You got to be, hands and knees in the ground, actually doing stuff, and more than just that Queen of Cups. Well, I'm going to sit here and meditate. We have a lot more power than we think. And I'm a Taurus Moon and Rising. I don't even have to blame my Taurus Moon and Rising. Sometimes I'm just lazy. I'm trying to be less lazy now that I'm here, like I said last night. I don't just leave stuff that I can throw away, because I ain't trying to have no problems. You know what I mean? And by problems, I mean bugs. So I'm not going to leave a mess, because if I'm lazy and I leave a mess, if I put out bug bait, then bugs are going to come. And that's not, anyway, it's fine. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Because, like I said, we all make our own choices and decisions, and for every choice, there is a pathway. And I'm just not the type of person that's like, well, I'm aligning to my 5D reality and screw anybody else. But also, like I said, we all make our own choices and decisions, and I'm also not the type of person that's making anybody else's choices or decisions. I'm not. I'm not interested in that. I don't want that because I want the things that I want in the way that I want them. I can't say how to, like, if you're trying to go to Kokomo and I'm going to Nebraska and we are on the Mississippi, we're going in two different directions. And I'm not trying to be out here telling you to go so far east that you end up west of where you started. That's why you have your own intuition, your own discernment. I'm just here to be like, when you get that intuition, when you get that discernment, yes, like finding the feeling and focusing on the feeling is important because it helps to build a belief in us that it actually exists. But once we know where we're going, we still have to get there. You know what I mean? Yeah. They love a crumb. They love a cake. They love a cookie. They love things that you can't even see. So you just got to be thorough. But anyway, it's a little chili peppery today, but it's fine. I'm not even going to apologize for it because, again, it's like sometimes we want so much and we ask for so much, and we can become really good at like visualizing and doing all of this other stuff. But when it comes to doing the more difficult, the more challenging, the harder parts, it's like, I mean, they're difficult and challenging and everything else. So it's no wonder why like everyone isn't necessarily doing it, but we all have the capability to, you know. And to that other point, it's just like with that sorcerer that sits at the intersection of that sat at the intersection of the five of earth and the seven of earth. I mean, I guess that in and of itself is a lot of like trauma responses. And I've already been this much of a chili pepper, so I might as well keep going. It's like we're building, that's like the five of earth and the seven of earth is literally like using being an outsider to build something and to create something, which in a lot of ways it's a literal trauma. It's like almost the definition of a trauma response. If every time you are working towards whatever you're working towards, if every time you are building whatever you're building, you're that, oh, I'm the black sheep, I'm the outcast, nobody gets me, I'm the star seed on earth, on this terrible, terrible earth, and I'm so great and amazing and pure. And it's like you're throwing bricks into the ocean. You're sent here to make the world a better place, but you ain't even building that better place for the world. You're building islands that you and your little starseed friends can go to and do whatever. But like, I don't, it's like, and then again, there are just these points where with some of the stuff, it's like, for all of those who truly believed in love or who truly believed in a compassionate divine, we'll say, because, I was born, well, I was raised, because somebody just taught me the distinction between born and just raised. So I was raised in a church. Um, and it's like that Old Testament God versus New Testament God, where Old Testament was a lot more like fire and brimstone. And if it ain't right, wipe it out. It was like, I can't believe people actually like what? No, shuffle the board, flip the table. We're starting all over. Ain't no way. New Testament God is like post the flood. God post Sodom and Gomorrah, God, like, Jesus came and Jesus was like, being a human is hard. Like, let's give chances before we just like, you know what I mean? But it's like, again, it's like for people who claim to be so caring and kind and compassionate, it's just like how easily a blind eye and a cold, dark spot in the heart can turn towards that. It's like, let's keep the sun over here and only here. And everybody else, they can suffer. Learn to live in the darkness, you heathens, you bots in the matrix. And it's like, girl, say you don't care without saying you don't care. Anyway. Woo! Hi, Eve. It's fine. I'm going to be going to the store in a few hours. Oh, well, I got tequila. That's not wine. But yeah. Yeah. I think I saw you say that. There's the tarot of the she that's in the store. I didn't get it. I know Eve has it. Um, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. I guess at some point it's like, well, what does it mean? You know? But I guess too, you're taking a wine break. Okay. Well, I won't tell you about all the wine that I'm drinking anymore. I'll do this whenever I take a drink. I just had to cough. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to say that people aren't as good as they think they are, but I guess I will say that sometimes when it's time for us to show up and be that amazing person that we know ourselves to be and that we believe ourselves to be, it's like leave the black sheep, leave the outside, but it's like you can't separate that from people. Maybe I should just be grateful that that wasn't my experience. Hibiscus tea in a wine glass, in a wine glass instead. I'm drinking hibiscus tea that's been sitting for about 1,000 years, if you know what I mean, in a barrel with little oxygen or air and some kind of bacteria in it to or yeast to ferment it. Kidding. Um, yeah, I don't know. And then again, maybe it's because I'm a Pisces, and I'm like, girl, that's not Neptune, that's you. Because Neptune, it's like Neptune is the vision. Choosing to get stuck in the vision, or like the shadow of Pisces, is like when we try to keep ourselves in that altered state of mind. But I don't know. It's fine anyway. I've said everything I needed to say. I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope that part doesn't resonate for you. I hope you're different. I know you're different, right? I know you're not the one that's like all 5D, all kumbaya, all like, let's get, and again, like that's one of the wild parts. It's like we have these global meditations for peace, and we're so 5D and we're so like love and whatever. But when things come up in the real world, whenever someone speaks up and they're like, hey, I don't think it's fair that I'm treated this way. You're like, sit down, shut up. You're not part of my 5D reality. You're an illusion by the matrix to get me to fall out of alignment with this. And it's like, girl, no, that is the manifestation of the very thing that you're supposedly manifesting. Go and fix it. Make that 5D reality. Hello? You don't make it by telling people to sit down and shut up. Like, in what world? It's like, in what world do you raise a healthily, mentally functioning child? And at the same time, you're constantly telling them, like, sit down, shut up, don't be too loud, don't play, don't do this, don't do that, don't be anything. And then you expect them to not have issues, girl. I don't know. It's just, again, it's one of those things that's weird to me. It's like if you really believed what you believed, and if you were really about it, you would see that as an opportunity to create it and to bring it into being. You're the reason why Neptune is about illusion. Because Neptune is a great revealer of things beyond your imagining. That's why it's there. That's the whispers from the divine that says, if you go this way, you'll actually find treasure at the end of the rainbow, rather than just like a patch of grass at the end of the other rainbows. This rainbow is actually magic. But magic with that sorcerer is like, I should have. It's like, it's time to make those choices and decisions, and it's time for it to be reality, I guess is all I'm going to say. And if anything comes up that is not what you planned or whatever, maybe it's an opportunity to actually fix the thing. So maybe you can at least make it to 6 minutes or 10 minutes before it breaks down. And then it'll be like, oh, we're at 3 minutes instead of the 5 that we had before. Oh, it's the end of days. Like, yeah, it is if you don't fix it anyway. So anyway, I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you are acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that you are listening to your intuition, discernment, guidance, and wisdom. I hope that like you ain't listening to Patrick and like, oh, well, Patrick said this and Patrick's whatever. So girl, no. Patrick is human just like you. Patrick put on his one shoe and then his other shoe just like you. But again, like it's all possible. And because everything is so trendy and because TikTok is so hot right now, it's like, it's almost like the more that we collectively talk about and push forward this energy of like this 5D age of Aquarius golden reality, maybe the more issues we're going to see come up across the world. Because those are the things that actually keep us from experiencing that in real life. And so when we resolve those things, when we listen, when we work together, then it becomes our reality rather than this vision that we're constantly chasing. And then we shake our fists at the heavens for daring to give us dreams. And then the heavens, they're patient, girl. You can live, you can go literally all of existence. Literally all of existence until the creator decides that it's over without ever changing. That's how patient the everything is. That's how patient source is. That's how loving. That's how much free will you actually have. You don't ever have to do anything. Ever. You can choose to constantly play that out the same time after time after time. And create these visions where things were different, kind of like Stockholm Syndrome, kind of like Wilson on that island in Castaway. But then you got a speedboat that's right there that can take you where you want to go in like 5 minutes. But, then you'd actually have to take the fuel tank and fuel it up. And you'd have to take the key and put it in the ignition, hot and fresh at the kitchen. But you don't want mama rolling that body to have everyone in there wishing. So you just sipping on Coke and rum and you're like, oh, I'm drunk. This is 5D, woo. And you're on your island and you're talking to Wilson and you get on your raft when there was the thing that could have took you there the whole time. But it required you to do a little bit of whatever. So it was too much. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather exert more energy and more effort by cutting down trees and finding vines I can use as ropes to makeshift a raft that'll fall apart in 5 minutes. Have a good trip to the store. All right, I'm done now. Bye. Goodbye.